Coach Matlock, baseball season starts in just a couple of days. Ring that bell! Woo! The UTRGV Baseball Preview Special starts now. Woo-hoo-hoo, Coach, look at this thing.
Man, it's beautiful, isn't it?
This is one of the nicest Lexuses I've ever seen.
You know what? It drives better than it looks.
Well, I'm really excited to see it drive, but first, can we go talk some baseball?
Let's do it.
It's the UTRGV Baseball Preview Special from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. I'm Jonah Goldberg. This is UTRGV head coach Derek Matlock. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We're going to spend the next half hour just talking baseball because the great weather can only mean one thing. It's obviously spring.
No doubt. Thank goodness it's been nice. It was terrible last week.
Now ready to go. Your season opener just a couple days away. That's on Friday against Houston Christian, 6:30 p.m., start of a 3-game series. And how excited are you to finally get going?
Man, it seems like we haven't played for so long. You know, when you go conference tournament all the way to the start of the next season, it's a long haul. We're so tired of playing each other. So now our group and our coaching staff is very excited for the first game.
You've had a lot of kids in during the fall and into the early spring as well, and you've been able to split up into 2 teams. Do you vary the teams to kind of change up the competition?
All fall, we pretty much kind of get a feel for the guys, and they play on both teams. And then we come in here early spring, we try to get our lineup in order. We can start, getting used to, when we hit and run and the guys in order. So we're starting to kind of build that lineup. Still a couple guys off, but we're getting close. Watching
one of your scrimmages the other day, it really crystallized for me just how much depth you have position-wise. So let's talk about some of these competitions that you've going on, if they're even still competitions. Like I look in the outfield and I see Brandon Pimentel out there, I see Zarek Saenz, the New Mexico State transfer, I see Montclair Kane, or returning beast. I know you got the Grand Canyon transfer and Adrian Torres. Like, how is that all working out?
Well, it's funny with the guys that have been here, they're our staple in our program, and they know our culture, and those guys are really hard to beat out. But those 2 corner outfielders, Pimentel and Kane, should be in there all 56 games. And Zarek Saenz being a guy that led the WAC and hit him one year, 376. He's got stock in the company, and he's coming here, and he's just absolutely killing the ball right now. So our outfield's pretty set, and we feel pretty good. He's a 6'5" runner, and those corner guys have been playing it a long time. So the outfield is something that's pretty solid. Torres is going to get to play a lot. He's a great player, too. He's a left-handed hitter. He can be a matchup, and Pig can go to first, and then Torres to left. So there's a way we can get more left-handed hitters. So there's some changes, but for the most part, that outfield's been won, the 3 guys.
And then, first base, Jacob Sanchez is back. He had a big year for you. Angel De La Cruz is back as well.
No doubt. We were really strong at first base, with Pig being able to go there too, and having another strong outfielder with Torres. What we're doing right now is we've got Sanchez at third, trying to keep both those big hitters in the lineup. So we're really working Sanchez really hard at third. We have Roberto Gonzalez from Incarnate Word, who hit in their 3-hole, hit 330 last year. He's a third baseman also. So we really like to see all 3 of those right-handed hitters in the lineup. Since all those outfielders are left-handed hitters, you're kind of getting 2 big power guys that you hope can play the corners, and one of them can DH. So we're trying right now to Sanchez play third or Roberto. And then, of course, Angel playing first is experienced, good defender, good hitter. And then we can get 3 of those big monsters in the lineup.
Thank goodness for the DH. Helps you to get the extra guy.
That's right.
Pimentel, a guy last year, he was all WAC second team. But, here's a guy who all year, he was probably in the running for All-American type honors. That kid can hit.
He is just a special offensive player, and he's really turned his defense on too. Just power to all fields, can really stay inside the ball. They're really scared to pitch to him. He's got to do a better job of not chasing so much, and he's got to be patient. He needs to get his on-base percentage up a little bit higher. But he's a special player, special hitter.
Montclair Kane went by Brett last year. This year, going by his middle name, Montclair. He's another guy who, a special kind of hitter. The year before, his first year here, transferred from Houston, didn't get a lot of time. And when he was out there, not a lot happened. And then last year, he just exploded.
No, he got really serious about his process, his diet, his strength and conditioning. And when you look at the analyticals in Pimentel and Kane, Kane's better. Kane had a better year, a whole year, so that's always surprising because Pimentel was so good. But no, he's a perfect example of a guy that's come in and bought in and was tired of watching games from the dugout. He was like, I'm tired of this. And he put together a special year last year, and he's put together a great early spring also.
I think the thing that impresses me the most about Kane is his plate coverage. When people pitch against him, I find it hard to believe that they can find a way to get him out.
Yeah, he's 6'6", and he's got long levers. The way they can really get him out, we don't want to tell too many people, but they'll try to get in the ball inside on him because of those long levers. But he can handle all pitches, and he's really mature hitter.
So you've got incredible corners. You mentioned Zarek Signs. So New Mexico straight transfer, who was the wax leading hitter a couple years ago. How did you get him?
Well, he was going to go to independent ball. They had a coaching change, of course, the year before that. And he went to independent ball, didn't get picked up. And he was with Jacob Hirsch, our old outfielder. And he's like, what are you going to do if you don't go start playing independent ball? He's like, I don't know. And Hirsch called me, and I said, let me call him. So we called him, said, dude, you got one more year eligibility. Why don't you come play with us? Because of the transfer rules. So he's like, I love to come play down there. I love you guys' facility and the way you guys play. And so we were very fortunate. That was like at the last part of the summer, we pick up a kid that led the whack and hitting right there at the end of the summer. So it was exciting.
And you've had great success with the transfer portal. We saw it last year, certainly, with guys like Pimentel coming in. I mean, Kane was a Houston transfer himself. And then you look at this year, I mean, you mentioned Signs and Torres, but you also got, from Incarnate Word, you already mentioned Little Gonzalez. I mean, he was one of the best hitters in the Southland last year.
That's right. So we got pretty fortunate. There's a little bit of luck involved when you get in there and start recruiting those transfer guys, and there's going to be a lot of people on them because they are basically free agents. They've already played at a high level. They've already put up numbers. So it's really a fight recruiting-wise to get them, and you got to offer them good scholarships, and we were fortunate to get both those great offensive players that have experience with Roberto and Zarek. So we're excited about both those guys.
What is your middle infield going to look like this year?
Well, you take probably one of the best defenders in the conference with Isaac Lopez, and you move him to second base because your kid from Arizona, Cade York, is probably just as talented. So you really have two shortstops playing the middle. I think the reason we make the decision right now, and it can change, is for Isaac to play second because he can really turn a double play, whereas in Cade's never played it. When, early years for Isaac here, we really worked him really hard at second from a developmental standpoint, and he got really good at turning double play. So we got two shortstops in the middle that both of them can play short, can't play two at once, so we might as well slide Isaac over since he turns the double play better and let those guys play in the middle together.
It's going to be hard for anybody to get a ball by you guys.
They're exciting to watch. They're really fun together in the middle.
And then watching the scrimmage the other day, I saw Damian Rodriguez at second base, and I saw him make a diving play onto the outfield grass and get it out that way too. I mean, even if you have to go to the bench, you're going to be fine.
Well, he's left-handed too, so that gives us an option with the pitching matchup. But he's one of our best base runners, and he's an outstanding kid. Hard worker. He's bought into our culture. He's a guy you want to find a spot for because you just love to watch him play. He plays hard, and he can really run the bases.
Let's get behind the plate. Let's put on some gear now. So R.J. Ochoa had been the starting catcher, dealing with injury a lot last year, so didn't really get much of an opportunity last year. You've got Steven Lancia, who was an impressive-looking freshman a year ago. What is your catching situation looking like?
Well, it's going to be those two guys. I mean, they're both fighting for it. I mean, they both catch and throw really well. I think Ochoa's got a little bit of an edge on the catching end of it for receiving the ball. Lancia's probably got a little bit more of the edge of the offensive side and a little bit throwing edge. So they're both going to throw. My dream would be for them to play 2 games a week each and us not lose anything on offense and rest them and keep them rested. And they both deserve to play. They're both great players, and They both throw well, and they're outstanding players. It's going to be the offensive guy who wants to be the most consistent. It's been a dogfight between them this early spring. Both of them are getting hits, and it's going to be fun to watch. Good problem to have, but we need two back there. Then we got Milo, a walk-on kid that come in and has been really impressive, a real physical kid that works hard and can block and really throw. So we feel pretty good about there with Milo and Ochoa and, of course, Steve.
Now, when you have Ochoa and Lopez and Sanchez in the lineup, that gives you 3 local kids in your starting lineup on a given day. And, of course, you have more local kids on the roster. What's the importance of having those Rio Grande Valley kids on your roster and succeeding?
Well, I think they have a lot of pride in the Valley, and I think they really help our attendance because people really come out to watch them. They get the loudest applause when they get introduced to anybody, but it's a thing about culture more than anything. They're family kids. They really bring our team together, and they're exciting players to watch. And I just think they believe in our culture. They've been here a while now.
We've talked position players. We still need to talk pictures. We need to talk about the program. We need to talk about the schedule ahead. And we're going to do that on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. This is the UTRGV Baseball Preview Special from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Now hiring awesome crew. Apply at workatcanes.com.
I first realized that I didn't have a voice when I was in the hospital. I woke up after open heart surgery and 3 months went by and the voice didn't improve. And so we realized that the vocal cord was paralyzed. It was a very difficult time for me because I'm a very vocal person and I thought, that's it, there's no hope. But when I found out that Dr. Jamal did this type of surgery and was going to be able to help me, I knew I was going to get my life back.
I love being a surgeon. When you have the opportunity to combine an educational institution with a health institution, you get the best of both worlds. By involving those faculty who are the teaching physicians and surgeons, you're also having the highest quality, the most cutting edge care that you can possibly get.
Once I started feeling like I was talking, I was elated. Getting my voice back, I've learned that you shouldn't leave anything unsaid. So say what you need to say. Tell them you love them.
In the Pain Dojo, we attack with great deals.
Yes, Sensei.
And great customer service.
Regardless.
Cobra Pain. Get a new 2022 Ram 1500 Quad Cab for only $39,995 during the Start Something New sales event at Pain Rio in Rio Grande City, Ed Pain Motors in Westlaco, and at Pain Edinburgh.
Sweep the leg.
Yes. Lo que tú quieres. Regardless.
Town Place Suites by Marriott, Edinburgh's newest destination spot and a host hotel of UTRGV Athletics, with the amenities that a frequent long-stay traveler or visiting team in town to take on the V-Nation looks for. The nightlife is amplified with Ignite Lounge, a great way to wrap up a long workday or celebrate a big win. Town Place Suites by Marriott on Trenton in between Business 281 and Sugar Road and minutes away from the excitement of UTRGV. Town Place Suites by Marriott, Edinburgh.
Today is going to be one of those days. It is going to set us on a different trajectory, put us in a position that we've never been before. Today is about one of those final pieces. Today is finally giving our coaches and our young people the tools they need to be successful. We're winning in the classroom. We'll continue to win on the courts and the fields of play. But today, this is championship caliber.
Welcome back to the UTRGV Baseball Preview Special from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. I'm Jonah Goldberg. This is UTRGV head coach Derek Matlock. And coach, before the break, we talked a lot about your positional battles going on. Now let's move to my favorite part, your favorite part. Let's go to the mound where all the action's going to happen.
Well, that's what causes championships is pitching and defense. And we've talked about the defense, how good they can be. We've got to really do a good job on the mound. We have more depth than we've ever had. We probably have 12 to 15 guys throwing the ball over 90 miles an hour. The inconsistency at times is kind of worries me a little bit, but we really have some experience with the frontline guys that you feel really comfortable with. And I think we'll end up throwing Jesus Aldaz on Friday night. He was a Sunday, then the Saturday. We've got Colton Davis and Randy Garza. Looks like Randy will probably get the start on Saturday. And then, of course, on the Sunday, still kind of up in the air. We have options with Nico, a local kid that coming from Kansas State. We have Massey, a left-hander from Indiana. We have some options there. Angelo Cabral's fighting in there to be one of them. And then J.C. Ariza, just had a meeting with him this morning. We'd really like to stick him on the midweeks and go get Rice, TCU, Texas State, UTSA, TCU, A&M. And that would be a really good opportunity for us to go win midweeks. And when you're trying to win 40 games and trying to do something different, you've got to have 4 starters. We've always kind of played around on the Tuesday game with different guys. And when you get into the conference tournament, if you don't have 4 solid guys that have been in routine and they're real true starters, it puts your bullpen in a bind, because then you're throwing your bullpen really early in the game. And we know Ricky Jarrett did that a lot for us last year. So hopefully we can get this thing shuffled off for the next week and really get ready to staple guys down in their days. But it's a fight in there right now.
You mentioned just the amount of starting pitching depth you have, especially with so many guys back from last year and a few impressive newcomers. The Tuesday game, I like the point you made there, because the WAC changed last year. The Western Athletic Conference became a 2-bid league again in baseball. So suddenly that adds an extra emphasis to those midweek games, because there's a second path to the NCAA regionals.
That's 100% right. And we've always come up short from a standpoint of being consistent, but we've always come up short from having the depth on the mound that can really win you 40 games and get you a chance to get an at-large.
So when you look at those pitchers, you mentioned Jesus Aldaz. He's moved quite a bit over the years now, looking like your opening night starter. What does he do so well?
He has, a 90 to 93 mile an hour fastball, has a lot of arm side, and he's got a little bit of command with it, and he has a really good changeup. And really, the most exciting thing about him is his breaking ball. He had it last year on and off, and he had it at New Mexico State and was WAC Pitcher of the Year. Had a shutout through 6, I think. And he's come back this fall and this spring, and he's had it the whole time. So he's put himself in line to really go out there and pitch with the 3-pitch mix and compete and fill the strike zone up and give us a chance to win.
Randy Garza, you mentioned possibly for Saturday, another guy who he didn't pitch his first year here. Then he was a little out of the bullpen, and all of a sudden he's starting and he's going pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, he's a 88 to 93 mile an hour guy with a good changeup and a good breaking ball. His fastball doesn't get hit much. He's got a really good arm, good presence on the mound, and he loves to compete. I mean, him starting the Texas game in that environment and doing what he did. His walks were too heavy last year. That was kind of what he's been battling in this fall. I think he struck out 18 and walked 3 in 10 innings, so that was exciting for us to see him start to get more confidence and throw the ball in the strike zone. We're just wanting to split. We've always had righty, righty, righty on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're just wanting to try to make them switch their lineup one of those games and maybe get one of their better left-hand hitters out because he doesn't hit lefties, and then he doesn't play a game, and then the righty has a better chance to have more success on Sunday. So if we can draw it up that way, we'll be excited, but there's no telling where we'll end up.
We certainly have a few good left-handed options. You mentioned Chris Massey, the newcomer. I know when you first showed me video of what this kid looked like in the bullpen, his fastball was just going, and I'm like, how has anybody hit this kid?
Yeah, he just throws from a really low slot, and he can go from 88 to 93, and he can really spin a breaking ball. He could be a piece out of the pen, or he could be the Sunday starter. It's going to kind of go to how he performs this next weekend. But he has a split change from that hole that is about 10 miles per hour slower, and it seems to go down. So he's a 3-pitch mix guy too. I think he's outstanding. I think he has a chance to have a really great year.
Colton Davis, a guy who early last year looked just as good, if not better, than Kevin Stevens. And how does he get himself into the mix? What does he need to do to be there, to be a starter?
Well, I put him on the Saturday for the reason this early spring pitch build up, because you can move a guy from Saturday to Friday, you move a guy from Saturday to Sunday, you can keep him on Saturday. And we know his first 4 or 5 starts 2 years in a row have been really outstanding. He's got a better breaking ball now than he's ever had. Fastball's still the same. He's throwing a little bit more two seams with some arm side. He's probably the best he's ever been right now. So we'll have to see how this shuffles out. If he stays on Saturday, moves to Friday, moves to Sunday, nothing with him would surprise me because he's that good. And if the guys can do what they're capable of doing, and he could go in the pen, it could really beef that pen up. So it's hard to tell what will happen until guys start performing against other teams instead of our own team. So it'll all work its way out over the next couple weeks.
And early on, there's going to be, you've got that Central Michigan series where it's a five games in a week, so you're going to have opportunities to use 5 starters in a week.
That's right, and we're going to stack. Our pitch counts will be probably to 75, it looks like, by opening day. We're going to stack 2 long guys on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we're going to throw those long guys till their pitch counts are out. Unless they start struggling, then we'll go to our bullpen. But it'll give us 6 guys that are competing in there, and we'll be able to move them with 70, 75. You could go on 6 the next week or go an extra day's rest. So it kind of gives us a little bit of 6 guys to really hone in on him to watch and to see who, competes the best and has the best stuff in that moment. And then we can start making decisions. It's gonna be exciting. It's competitive, and guys are fighting and trying to compete to get it.
Will you know what the back end of your bullpen looks like before this is done, or you need to figure out the starters first?
You know what's funny is there's already been about 3 guys really surface as bullpen guys that we already run them in bullpen roles, and that's Jack Lopez, a guy that's underneath that really sinks it, can really spin it. He's quick to the plate. He fields his position, and then of course one of our big surprises is Bobby Loya from El Paso. He's been running the ball in the mid-90s with a really good slider, and he's filling the zone up. He's kind of taking that. If we were playing tomorrow, he'd close the game, a 1-run game in the 9th right now. And then Sebastian Mejia from Corpus Christi, he was their closer. So we got another great transfer, that down arm, go 90 to 92 with a lot of sink and a really good breaking ball, a really good change, real competitive. And he's been in that role before for Corpus. He closed the game against Southeast Louisiana in the tournament. 7th, 8th, and 9th, they're only winning that tournament. He's the one that closed it and won it. So he's got some experience. But those 3 guys right now are guys we feel pretty comfortable with. Now with the Nico, the Davis, and Massey, and Cabral, as those guys work their way into that starting role, J.C. Ariza is one of our best guys too. And like I said, if we could use him on Tuesday and go after those big guns with J.C. and his experience and the teams he's beat in the past, he could be a big Tuesday help. So we're still, a lot of things are up in the air, but it's starting to kind of take shape, and we've got to start making some decisions. And then guys will win it or lose it as we get into the season.
Fans are going to get an opportunity to see your team a lot early. First series this weekend, Houston Christian, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then next Tuesday, Central Michigan. And then a doubleheader the following Friday, single games Saturday and Sunday. And then the following weekend, still home, University of Houston comes to town for a 3-gamer.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a really good, Lance Berkman at Houston Christian is, of course, we all know he's a really good player. He's going to be offensive with the guys he got in there now to recruit. And now he's got his team in there, being his 2nd year. That's going to be a tough series. They beat SAC 3 out of 4 last year on the road, and they had a good year in the Southland. And then you go Central Michigan, who won 43 games. What an outstanding coach they have and an outstanding program. And then you get University of Houston, who's premier program, a program heading to the Big 12. So the recruiting class is going to be Big 12 oriented, and Todd Wooding does a great job. And it's going to be a fight to the finish to get off to a good start.
Well, when you win on March 3rd, that first game against Houston, we're going to celebrate with fireworks after the game. So you want to make sure you're there for that one. I mean, you should be there for all of them. Go find the schedule online at goutrgv.com. He's Derek Matlock. He's the head coach of the UTRGV baseball team. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back to wrap things up in a moment. This is the UTRGV baseball preview special from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley.
This is a walk-on athlete. They train longer, put their heart into the game. This is the passion we're built on. It's why we put our heart into creating game day with a taste of Louisiana. Walk-ons, we live for this.
in the minute it takes to knock back your drink, spot your new crush, or cheer on the home team, you could do something that really makes a difference. Sign up as an organ donor. In less than a typical timeout, you could sign up to save 8 lives. It sure beats using a minute to mustard that hot dog. Sign up at tosa1.org.
The Rio Grande Valley is growing every day. That's why you need a team you can trust. 2 stations, 2 languages.
Relaciona las leyes en el manejo de recursos públicos.
The most experienced news anchors in the valley.
Andina Herrera Garza.
And I'm Rudy Mireles.
The largest weather team keeping you informed in English.
The Tracker Front updates forecast.
Y en español.
Te le voy a estar explicando un poco más de eso.
A sports team covering the RGV like no one else.
What this win means.
We're live in the morning, at noon, and in the evenings. Anytime you need us, we're online and on social media too. We do this all in both languages.
Continue to follow breaking news.
Nosotros estamos aquí para platicarles cómo.
Who else can deliver this type of coverage?
We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great night.
No one. Channel 5 News
and Azteca Valle.
Working together for you.
If you've been injured in a serious accident or arrested on serious charges, you need an attorney that will fight for you in court. Trust attorney Carlos A. Garcia, because serious cases require a serious lawyer. Call us at 956-584-1448, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Bobby, Killer Scout has new lure pricing for you and new members.
Existing members should also get new pricing.
Existing members do get new pricing.
All members get new pricing.
That's right, all members.
What about non-members?
Non-members also get new pricing.
Everyone gets new pricing.
Everyone gets new pricing.
Everyone.
Everyone. Everyone.
Good. My work is done here. It's time to go practice and play.
Thanks for tuning in for the UTRGV Baseball Preview Special. If you want to watch this one again, check it out on Monday at 8 p.m. or Saturday at 11 a.m. on Somos El Valle, Channel 5.3, Cable 1241. The show and other UTRGV athletic specials are also available on our YouTube channel at goutrgv.com/coachesshow, as well as the KRGV Sports Facebook page. Big thanks to UTRGV baseball head coach Derek Matlock for joining us today. You can follow the Vaqueros all season long at goutrgv.com. Make sure you tune in for the next UTRGV athletics special coming your way April 2nd at 11 a.m. as we get to know UTRGV football head coach Travis Bush. But for now, this is Jonah Goldberg saying so long from North Park, Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. This has been the UTRGV Athletics Baseball Preview Special. Get your visa.